Segueing to the war in Gaza, the Biden administration has told Congress it plans to send more than $1 billion in new military aid package to Israel. It comes despite U.S. opposition to a full-scale invasion by Israeli military on the southern Gaza city of Rafah. The U.S. Department of State moved on the package into the congressional review process on Tuesday, but will still need to be approved by lawmakers. According to officials, the aid package includes about $700 million for tank ammunition, $500 million in tactical vehicles, and $60 million in mortar rounds. Just last week, President Joe Biden paused a single shipment of bombs because of concerns over Israel's offensive in Rafah, in the southernmost tip of Gaza, from where the United Nations says close to 500,000 people have been displaced. The European Union is also concerned about Israel's invasion of Rafah, asking the country to end its attack immediately. EU Foreign Policy Chief Josep Borrell issued a statement saying Israel's failure to halt the military operation in the southern Gaza city would undermine ties with the bloc. Mr. Borrell also called on Israel to refrain from further exacerbating the already dire situation in Gaza and reopen the crossing point of Rafah. The statement called on all parties to increase their efforts to achieve an immediate ceasefire and the unconditional release of all hostages. Well, the humanitarian situation in Rafah is topmost on the concerns of the United Nations. Israeli offensive in the city is disrupting the distribution of aid and causing more internal displacement. UN Deputy Spokesperson Farhan Haq called for the protection of all civilians in Rafah and Gaza at large.
The Secretary General is appalled by the escalation of military activity in and around Rafah by the Israeli Defense Forces. These developments are further impeding humanitarian access and worsening an already dire situation. At the same time, Hamas goes on firing rockets indiscriminately. Civilians must be respected and protected at all times in Rafah and elsewhere in Gaza. For people in Gaza, nowhere is safe now. The Secretary General reiterates his urgent appeal for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire and for the release of all hostages. He calls for the Rafah crossing to be reopened immediately, and we must have unimpeded humanitarian access throughout Gaza.